Test. Test. What's up, guys? Test. What's up? What's up? Let's wait for a few more people to come in here. Big time ball games. Big times ball games today. What's up, JR? We'll get going here in a second. There should be a thumb up. All right, people are starting to come in. If you guys can, hit those like buttons. Hit that like button. who do we got in the chat? We have 10 people. We want to get some more eyeballs on this video. BLK, what's up, man? You guys hear me okay? I didn't do a college football video, so I thought we'd kind of just talk about it in this live stream. We're going to get going. This is kind of a little pop-up live stream. I should have announced a little earlier. I'm going to try to share it in the Discord real quick, and then we'll get on our way. There should be a thumb up right next to the share button. All right. So let's get it going. How about that game last night, man? Yankees absolutely just kind of blew my mind. What's up, Chris? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we had a good day with the NFL, though. We swept the board. Kind of a tough way to bet it, but I gave out the first quarter Jets, Bills money line, and the over 41.5. So 3 college football games, though, I want to talk briefly about within these games. There is a lot to get over. We do have an interesting one, Troy and South Alabama, as well as Kennesaw State, Middle Tennessee State. No real play on that one. And then Louisiana Tech and New Mexico State is another one. So kind of crazy. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Louisiana Tech game. I think that's one that we do have kind of a read on. Trying to find some recency. South Alabama absolutely destroyed them last time. Or I'm sorry, Louisiana Tech and New Mexico State. Let me just pull up another screen real quick. All right, here we go. So, Devion, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Am I betting the Troy under? Well, let's get into it. So that's kind of been interesting. Troy's always been historically really good on defense, and coming into this game, if we look into kind of the Troy defense, their numbers are not good. They're, bottom half. Troy at one point was a ranked team that really prided themselves on defense. Now they're in the bottom third, basically in every category, and as well as kind of what we see from South Alabama, they can play some offense. They can run the football. They have a lot of success doing that, running the football, throwing the football. This is one where I think that you do see a lot of, how should I say this? I think this is kind of a lopsided kind of number here, but we're getting a lot of Troy money. It's getting bet down to 11.5. I am going to pull up the outlier, so I'll give you guys some premium content, some information. We'll get into some of this, pull up some of these games. Not going to bet Middle Tennessee State, but I am going to show you guys kind of what's going on with this. For some reason, it is not playing nice here. So before we get going, if you guys haven't done so, make sure to subscribe to this video, or to this channel, I should say. Smash that like button. As always, appreciate you all stopping by, taking time out of your day We're going to just go through kind of quickly, kind of off the cuff as well. But some things that we want to talk about, and I don't bet college props too much, but I want to talk about the games right here because New Mexico State is one that's kind of interesting. 75% in their last 8 games at home. We've seen a lot of unders in this spot. Also, you get New Mexico State, like I said, 75% against the spread and straight up in their last 8 games at home. So that's kind of interesting to go over in terms of a narrative. Middle Tennessee State's absolutely god-awful. Those numbers kind of lend towards the over, especially with Middle Tennessee, with Kennesaw State. I do like their offense as well. And then we do see Kennesaw State 0-5 in their last 5 as an underdog. So I kind of view that game as more of a coin flip. So I'm not going to get too crazy with that one. That's like I said, I'm not going to bet it. Maybe a little live opportunity, but that's going to be off my card pre-flop. South Alabama and Troy. This is where we've had an over in 4 out of the last 6 as a favorite for South Alabama. I like their offense, I'm telling you. And I think Troy's defense is lackluster. The biggest question we have going for us right now is kind of what we see from that Troy offense where, South Alabama doesn't play the best defense, but they can stop the run. They struggle with the pass. And this is an interesting matchup because Troy's best feature right now is just kind of throwing the football. They throw it better than they run it. So that's kind of where I lend within this game. We had a question there for the Troy under. Off the numbers, I kind of lean towards the over due to that, due to those insights that I talked about. South Alabama covering that number. It's 4 out of our last 12 against it, and it's just kind of a weird kind of like proposition right now. What we're going to get. So let's get into some of the live numbers that we're seeing right now on the stream. Troy, we're looking at them 11.5. They're bet down from 13.5. The total's at 54.5. Where if you want to really look into kind of what we're talking about, it was something where this under has been bet down from 56.5. You can find 54s out there. New Mexico State, on the other hand, plus 12.5. And we do see the over 49.5 in play. Now, this is kind of interesting because Louisiana Tech, okay, if we want to talk about this game a little bit, I'm going to get to it a little bit more in depth, but Louisiana Tech absolutely destroyed Middle Tennessee State. So I think this is a step up for New Mexico State. New Mexico State gives up a ton of points. So I think Louisiana Tech is the side. They are the rightly favorite in my opinion. 12.5 is a big number, but it's a number that I like in terms of college football. 7 points in college is worth a lot less in the college game than it is in the pros. So that's something that we lend towards talking about a little bit deeper. But I am going to touch upon this and give you guys kind of my best bet in this game first. We talk a little bit about Louisiana Tech, what they're able to do. You're looking at both teams playing zero defense. Okay, so I really do like the over 49.5. If I was going to tell you guys, probably my best bet of the day, it probably would be the over in the La Tech New Mexico State game. In terms of college, that's a bet that I truly like. I think New Mexico State, what we're able to see from them, from a scoring standpoint, it's something where they've been getting blown out, but against New Mexico, they did score 40 points. So they do have the capability to score. It's just not always present. So what we need to find here is Louisiana Tech getting back into kind of that territory. I know it's maybe an outlier going against Middle Tennessee State, but I do think that if they get into the high 20s or 40s, I look for the New Mexico State game. That will be one that goes over. Not playing Kennesaw State, Middle Tennessee State, but I do lend towards Kennesaw State plus 8.5 as well as the over in that game. That would be kind of my leans. Like I said, I'm not going to bet it. I think Kennesaw State can score and they can hang with anyone for the most part, but they're 0-5 for a reason. So when it comes to this game, I'll take the points, but this is a crap on crap game, as we like to call it. All right. We can talk a little bit back on that Troy South Alabama game, not to get too crazy with it. We look at some of the recent games. You could talk about Troy's defense playing against some lackluster competition. 38-21 to Iowa. That's a data point that I do lend towards giving Troy the upper hand potentially. But South Alabama, this is going to be a tough matchup, okay? It's not necessarily the same South Alabama team that we're used to, but this is something where we look at what they did against Appalachia State, 48-14, and then getting their breaks blown off by LSU. It just lends towards a very, very tough spot to lay the 11.5. So I'm not necessarily loving any of that. So let's talk a little bit about the public betting and see where the pros and Joes are, and then I'll give you guys kind of more of an indication where we're at. Ryan, what's up, man? Chris and Pac Main, what's happening? Welcome in to the stream. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys all subscribe, and please hit that like button if you can. We got over 20 people watching. I'm kind of shocked on that, but if you guys can, make sure you do smash that like button as well, and hopefully more people end up trickling in to the chat. Not necessarily sure when's the best time to go live, but just kind of got done with my stuff today, so I figured, why not just say what's up, okay? We'll look at this game. You can see a large amount of money on Troy, okay? There's a big betting discrepancy with the money here. The Troy money line at plus 350, that's kind of seemingly where all the action is. If we look at the point spread, though, it's split 50-50 with more of the love showing on the under, okay? So I talked a little bit about it. I kind of like the overs in all three of these games. Whether or not that happens, that will be something that we decide tonight, but it's where I do lend towards 3 overs. That's just where I'm at. I talked a little bit about that. Kennesaw State, Middle Tennessee, we're not going to talk about that too much because I don't want to bet it. It's a shit-on-shit game. But a little bit more so, the money is on the under and the Middle Tennessee spread. That's kind of where the money is. Like I said, guys, I'm staying away from it. If anything, I do like Kennesaw State and the likes of the over. So I'm probably on the opposite side of the sharps, but that's why I don't really have a clear feel for these games. If anything, the one I did talk about a lot was Louisiana Tech. I do like them quite a bit, and the over would probably be my best play. So maybe I'll play a little Louisiana Tech over teaser, so we'll get over that 43.5 as well as getting a 6.5, maybe a 6.5 point teaser. So take Louisiana Tech -6 and the over 43. That might be kind of a little same game opportunity for me in that game, but nothing crazy. These are just kind of midweek games. You get a lot of conference play. For me, though, I do like betting the betting splits a lot more, just due to the fact that we have a lot of money that we could read between the lines, because there's not a lot of huge handles other than they're just being the same, just being the only games on. Okay. So I will touch upon kind of Troy and South Alabama briefly. We talked a lot about kind of the fact that Troy and South Alabama's defense, they struggle against the pass, and that's what Troy does well. So that's going to be their advantage. But for me, guys, it's something where I think South Alabama has the clear-cut best offense, and it's not even close. So I would lend towards taking South Alabama. 11.5 is a funny spot. It's a funny spot. So it's kind of where you have to really question what's going on with that. But we are seeing a lot of professionals on Troy in terms of the betting splits, if you believe in that. So it's really a game that I'm not looking to get involved. This is, like I said, these are kind of weird games. But my best bet for the night within college would probably be the over in Louisiana Tech and New Mexico State. Okay. The other thing I want to tell you guys about what we have going on with this Troy South Alabama game, okay, is both defense are just horrible. Okay, so that's why I told you guys I like all the overs. Instead of taking South Alabama to cover 11.5, I probably would lean towards them scoring 7 touchdowns or some combination that gets us over the team total. 34.5. That's kind of where I'm at. So if you think that South Alabama can get close to 40 points themselves, look for that team total, go over that. That's kind of where I would be at in this game. Is probably one of my best bets. And it's something where South Alabama is very, very efficient on offense. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. But I do think Troy has enough to possibly keep this one close. So I'm not too confident with the spread. I just like South Alabama to light up the scoreboard. So that's kind of where I'm at within that. Okay. So that would probably be how I would bet that. Also, we're going to touch upon the baseball game tonight. And for those of you that did watch yesterday, I mean, I talked about a little bit in my video. It was just kind of even if you didn't have the Indians in a bet, it was just a game where it's just absolutely it was a boring game. It was cold, windy. We got some home runs, but I mean, nothing was what we wanted to see in terms of like competition, right? It was just Yankees were in control from day one and the first pitch, honestly, because I don't know what Alex Cobb was doing, but if your finger's bothering that much where you don't start bitching about it until you give up a home run and you start walking people and lose control. You never had it when you were warming up. I mean, they throw a pretty extensive warm-up bullpen, whatever you want to call it, and I just, for one, guys, I don't know why they left him in that long. And then to bring Cantillo in, just because it's a lefty-lefty matchup, that's just kind of irate. He couldn't even throw the ball to the plate. Bouncing balls. Naylor behind the dish was absolutely atrocious in terms of just, block. I mean, there's college catchers that could block those balls in that spot. You call it the wind, whatever, but catchers weren't even catching the ball. I don't buy the wind being an issue. That was a little bit irky for me to watch. Very painful, but that's in the past. Let's talk about the future. And if you really want to talk about this game, I think it comes down to who wants it more, because I don't think there's too much of a clear discrepancy within their pitching. Personally, when we talk about the Guardians, Indians, whatever, their bullpen's going to be ready to go. And I think that is something where if you look at kind of the narrative against what we saw with BB, that's kind of where everybody was betting against him against the Tigers, and he actually came out there and dealt. So for me, it's just kind of the tepidness that we saw from the Guardians at the plate. Horrible at bats. They were late on everything. Rodon was, he was pitching well, and he has a really, like they said on the broadcast, a very, very high whiff percentage for starting pitchers. And it was something where he illustrated that last night, put that on display. But it's something where I told you guys in my video, I don't see it personally. For me, I'm going to be, everybody's taking the Yankees money line. The Yankees are just going to blow the Indians out. We're going to get that Subway Series, World Series. Maybe not. But minus 160, I'm not going to lay that. I'd rather lay the minus 150 and take the Guardians with a run. I think we do have the potential to see a very low scoring game. Even the likes of 3-2 within extra innings, something like that. It's just where I'm at within the picks for game 2. You could talk about BB getting over his strikeouts, 4.5. That seems to be a good number for me. And that was probably the most concerning thing for me yesterday was how many times the Guardians struck out. Okay. It's just crazy, guys. They absolutely control the plate, the discipline at the plate. Not only that, but chasing pitches was just out of control. And it was a metric that I thought the Guardians had the leg up on Rodon, because he does struggle at times with control. And maybe the wind was just making the off speed look a little crazy, but and tough to handle. But I don't know. The Yankees were able to see the ball. They were able to get on base, take walks. And I just look for that to be kind of the narrative tonight, where we do get pitchers that they can locate the fastball. And that's something where it's going to be something where as long as you throw strikes and the wind's not blowing crazy like it was last night, I didn't really look at the weather report, but I still like the under regardless. Now, that under is kind of questionable in Yankee Stadium, so a lot of people probably are doubting that. Me personally, the under 7 is my play. if it works a couple ways, and that's why I'm staying away from the side. If the Guardians come out like last night, they can't hit water if they fell off a boat, then we probably have a good chance to cover. And if it's windy, if we're getting a lot of those warning track fly balls from the Yankees, if Cole deals, if BB has a good performance, I just really see this one staying way below 7 personally. Okay. Some things also you can look into is the Guardians right here in a long shot, plus 145. Call it a homer pick, whatever you may want to call it. I just don't think that it's too crazy to think that the Guardians tie this one up at 1 before they head back, and play on Friday or Thursday, I should say. So, BB, his whips at 1.12 during the regular season, it's something where he's, the numbers are a little disconcerting because his record's 12-8, but he's actually been pretty effective. Okay. He's probably been very effective in terms of a lot of the metrics that we look at for pitchers. So I think he's getting a little bit of a buy low spot on him here. I don't quite frankly understand that. And it's something where if he does pitch well, we could see some regression from the Yankees here in the spot because, it's very, very interesting to see how this is going to play out. I just don't see any runs personally. And if we do get runs, like I said, it's going to be a close-knit game where the Guardians are going to give themselves a shot late with the strength of their bullpen. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's my breakdown handicap of the game. I think both starting pitchers are going to play well. Keep the total down, and then we get to the bullpen. And not only will we cash the under in that spot where the Guardians bullpen comes in, it's going to give us a chance with the Guardians on the money line to tie this thing up. So that's kind of where I'm at. So we got to root for BB to shut him down, and then let the bullpen take over from there. So that's kind of my breakdown for the Major League game. Some props that I do like, I will share with you guys. We talked a little bit on the channel. Okay, Soto's seeing the baseball well. All right, and lefty on righty, he's going to have an edge here. You could take him over 1.5 total bases. That's at plus money, but he has not been a strong historical postseason player. Neither has Jose Ramirez or Judge. So I said yesterday, I actually called that home run by Stanton when we were watching it. I like the way he swings in the postseason. And when the Yankees were having their trouble and failing to deliver on their payroll, Stanton was usually the only bright spot during that little run that they had. But that's kind of where I'm at. I think we do see a better performance from Stephen Kwan. I think he's going to be able to have some effectiveness. I do think Kwan's going to have a big day, and I do think that Jose does flash the number here, gets a hit in tonight's matchup. He hit the ball well yesterday. He had a couple. The Indians flied out a lot early, and I think that's really hard to do when you just give the other team an out. Quite frankly, the best way to go about it is hard ground balls, right? Hard ground ball, line drives, string together multiple base runners and capitalize when you do have those runners in scoring position. And you can't let pass balls go, wild pitches, walk the bases, all that stuff. And that's kind of what the Guardians did last night. So they never really had a chance, and that's unfortunate. So we'll look real quickly, see where the updated odds board is. Right now, we are getting the Yankees minus 165. Guardians are best number out there is plus 143. That's interesting. Like I said, that's a lot of value. Minus 150 on the run line if you do take the Guardians. The Yankees, I talked about a little bit in my video this morning. They do not do a good job of covering that run line. Okay, it's a high percentage to the no. So Cleveland plus 1.5 is kind of juicy. The under 7 is definitely where I lay. We give ourselves a chance of a push at 7. And it's just a slight play, right? I'm not crazy about this. If we're going to talk a little bit about where the value is, it's definitely back in Cleveland at plus 143. I'm not just saying that because I like Cleveland. I'm just saying that because straight up, guys, more motivation and a plus number, that is a lot of value. So that's kind of where I'm at with all this. So I'll open up the comments box. If you guys have anything you want to add, any questions, see where I'm at, feel free to go ahead right now. And like I said, though, if you have not done so, make sure you guys all subscribe down below. Who we got? Who we got? Anybody available? Everybody's being shy. That's all right. The current state of the economy. Oh boy, that's my other line of work. I don't think it quite frankly matters. We got to get through the election, but let's keep it on sports. Looking at this real quick. Yeah, Paul. Thanks for tuning in, man. Glad you can make it. Let's check it out. Yeah, we had some deafening silence. Okay, so I do look at this a lot. Major League Baseball weather report. You can see the wind. This is there's one. It's on covers.com. It'll show you kind of where the wind's blowing out. I do use that as a resource. It's blowing out the right again. So yeah, Devon, I like that. I like taking Jose when, and I'll pull him up here. I like taking Jose when he does bad the day before. He usually has a bounce back game. And you can see right there, right now the numbers are lending towards the over for this one. So for me, though, it's something where we do want to look at the overs. Let's talk about it like this. And this is outlier, guys. If you haven't signed up for it, make sure you do. I mean, look at this in terms of resources. It's just completely nuts how much data it compiles if you want to just figure out the best bets. So you can see right here, over half bases, like this. Well, I'll show you guys. This is what we're looking at for Jose. 2 games on, and he usually always bounces back, except for the second game or the third game against Detroit. He failed to do so. But yeah, on a day where I'm forecasting very little runs, very interesting way to go about it. So you can look at kind of, his explosiveness, his batting average in Yankee Stadium as a career player, but I think that contrasts with his postseason kind of record. Okay, we can look at kind of how we've seen this. In 30 plate appearances Jose has had against Garrett Cole, he's batting 391. So I don't know if you guys can see it on your end, but that's his stats, right? So going against Garrett Cole, 500 on base percentage, 9 hits, 18 total bases, and 4 extra base hits. So that's just absolutely crazy, insane data right there since 2018. I mean, yeah, I can't really see the bottom of this. I got to find a way to make this easier for you guys to see, but some of the data you can get, heat maps, what pitches, that Jose will have success against, that Cole throws, the percentage of pitches that he throws. Like, you can't really see this bottom box, but so he throws it basically the majority of the time towards a lefty. He works up and out, and Jose bats 161 as a batting average against that pitch. So it's where he wants the ball up and in. So you can kind of see how they're pitching Jose. It's kind of a really cool graphic to really put it in perspective. But kind of where I'm at with all that. Yeah, I don't mind that, Mario. I just, like I said, I just don't know how many hits and runs we're going to get. I think it's an under game, so I'm going to stay away from a lot of the props here in this spot. So I'm probably going to be wrong. I was dead wrong yesterday. I had a nice juicy kind of same game parlay yesterday that got blown up. I took to get one hit runner RBI for Quan, Ramirez, and Soto. I had the and also the some basically an alternate total and runs, as well as the Nerfy. So it would have paid quite a penny, but it was just a little too much of a home run lottery ticket. Nice. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, wind's blowing in out the right. 50. It's going to be 54 degrees at game time. So it's going to be an interesting game to watch. But for me, it's just kind of the only way I could play this game is betting the under. So that's going to be my bet. I don't really dabble into the playoff props too much because it's just so much variance. But yeah, so that's just kind of what we got going on. I just thought I'd go live instead of doing a college football video today. But that's pretty much all I got. If no one else has anything, I'm going to get running here. Just want to touch base. Appreciate all my channel members. Love seeing those logos in the chat. Thank you all. Yeah, so good luck with your picks. I'm going to sign off right now. We'll see you on the Discord later. If you guys aren't there, links down below in the description. Chat it up for the games. And I'll see you all later on. All right, good luck, Paul. See you guys.